Hi, my name is Anne. Thank you for coming to my channel. Shortly, I am going to be leaving to walk my second Camino de Santiago, this time the Portuguese route from Porto north to Santiago de Compostela. Last year, I walked on the French route from Pamplona to, again, Santiago de Compostela. And in this video, I want to talk about some things that I brought with me on last year's Camino that I am not bringing with me on this year's Camino. A couple of them are things that I would recommend for someone walking in hotter months than I did, and were things that I just really didn't need at the time I was there. And a couple are things that I just didn't need no matter what the circumstances would be. So let's get started. The first thing that I brought last year that I'm not going to bring is a buff. And I love this buff. I got it in Barcelona a couple years ago, specifically for the Camino. It's got like a Gaudi pattern. I love Gaudi architecture, and so I just love this buff. But I only wore it the first day of the Camino, and I never wore it again. So lots and lots of people wear buffs, and they're very popular, so it's not something that I would say no one should bring. My problem is a lot of people wear them around their neck as sun protection. I don't like having something around my neck up that close. I don't even like crew neck t-shirts because I just don't like my neck being closed off like that, I guess. And that was how I wore it the first day. I wore it around my neck, and I wasn't comfortable with that, and I didn't like it. Another way people wear it is over their head as like a headband, or again, covering for the sun. And I think it's because either my head is a weird shape or it's because I have such fine, thin hair. Whenever I put something over my head like that, it just spits off the back. And so it just doesn't work for me. And so, I mean, I could wear it around my wrist, I suppose, if I wanted to, but that's not something that I need. A lot of times in really hot weather, the people will dunk this in water and then put it over their head as a way to cool down. I'm not walking at a time that's hot enough to really need to do that. So for me, a buff is just not useful, but a lot of people do have them, and I will keep this just because I love the pattern. Sort of related to that, the next thing that I'm not going to bring is a wide brimmed hat like this one that I brought. I like this one because it has the hole in the back for putting my hair through. So I like this hat, but again, I'm not walking in the hottest months of the year. If I were walking the Camino in July or August when it's really hot, I would feel like I needed the added protection from the sun that the wide brim gives me. But I instead wear a runner style baseball cap, and that felt like enough for me. I think I only actually wore this hat maybe 5 times in a 40-day Camino on some of the warmer days, but even then it wasn't that hot. And I don't think it'll be that hot again this year because I'm walking basically the last week and a half of May and the first week of June. And I don't think I'll need something quite this with this much sun coverage. Again, not a bad thing to have on the Camino. I just have something I like better in a baseball cap, and then I'll just make sure I have sunscreen on the back of my neck to protect me there, and then leave this at home. The next thing I'm not going to bring are electrolyte tablets. I bought a whole bunch of these containers last year. I think this is the only one I have left, and I only kept it because it's grape and it's my favorite flavor of these. So basically it's just, they're electrolyte tablets. You put it into your water, it dissolves, and then it helps you with hydration. I found that I only liked how these tasted when they were cold. And most of the time when you're walking, you're drinking air temperature water, which when I'm doing that, I prefer it to just be plain. And so I thought this would help me drink more water, and it really did the opposite. Again, if I was walking in the hottest months of the year, I think something like this would be really helpful when you do need that hydration, when you're sweating out a lot of fluids. But that didn't happen for me last year. And again, I don't anticipate that this year, and I can just always make sure I'm drinking more water. I also didn't realize how often you'd be able to refill your water bottle while you're walking, and so needing the hydration from something like this, I really didn't feel like was necessary. I was keeping hydrated just through drinking enough liquid. So again, it kind of depends on what you need in the time of year, but I won't be bringing any of these with me this year. And the last thing that I will not be bringing with me on the Camino this year are physical books. Last year, I brought 2 physical books with me, and The reason I brought physical books is because I do not like ebooks. I do not like reading on a screen. I never use ebooks almost ever. I just prefer to read a hard copy book. So I had two of them last year. One was a Camino guidebook that I actually really liked. It is the Moon Guide to the Camino de Santiago. It had a lot of information about the things you'd see along the way, which is what I really wanted, as opposed to needing information about hotels and things like that that you see more of in the other guidebooks. This one really did a really good job of telling you what you can see and do along the Camino, and that's what I was looking for in a guidebook. The problem was I stopped using it about a week or two into the Camino. What I was doing was I was ripping out the pages for the places I would be going through on that particular day, and the rest of the book went with my pack that I was transferring with me. So it wasn't like I was carrying it with me on a day-to-day basis, but I just stopped using it as much. So I did not buy a hard copy book for this year's Camino. I did buy an ebook, so if I really want to look at something, I can. But I suspect I won't even do that. And the way is so well marked, I didn't really feel like I needed the maps in it at all. It just ended up being something I didn't need. The other book I brought was just a casual leisure book. So I was walking by myself. I thought there might be evenings where I would want to just sit and read a book, and I never did. I never touched that book the whole way. Again, it went forward in my pack I was transferring, so I wasn't carrying a book with me every day on the trail, but it just took up space that didn't need to be taken up. So I will not be bringing any hard copy books with me this year. So that is everything that I am not bringing that I brought last year. Everybody's packing list is super personal and what they think they're going to need. And sometimes what you think you're going to need isn't what you actually do. And the only way you're going to find that out is to just go and see whether you use things. But I feel like I did a pretty good job last year. I think everything else I brought was useful in one way or another, things that I'm going to bring again. There really wasn't anything I wished I had brought last year that I didn't, that I will be adding to my list this year. I feel like with the elimination of the things that I just mentioned, pretty much everything else I brought last year will be included on this year's packing list. And the next video will be my packing video showing what I will be bringing on this Camino, as well as what I will be bringing for a professional development opportunity that I'll be attending after the Camino. So look forward to that in the next week. If you have anything that you brought on a Camino that you wish you hadn't and would never bring on another one, feel free to post that in the comments. I'd love to see it. Otherwise, thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.